When Hurricane Helene hit, the devastation was immediate and overwhelming. Winds reached up to 140 miles per hour, ripping apart homes and infrastructure, leaving communities isolated and desperate. Entire regions were plunged into darkness. Fuel ran dry, and shelves were emptied within hours. But for those of us paying attention, the real lesson wasn't just in the destruction, it was in the gaps that were exposed. Gaps in preparedness that could spell disaster, not just in the short term, but for months or even years to come. Welcome back to Prepper's Paradigm, your source of sensible, realistic prepping information. In today's video, we're going to take a closer look at Hurricane Helene, an event that has left many unprepared and scrambling for resources. We'll explore the immediate aftermath, the shortages people faced, and how this disaster revealed vulnerabilities that can teach us all valuable lessons about preparedness. From the loss of essential supplies to potential long-term disruptions in global supply chains, there's a lot we can learn from Helene to improve our own prepping strategies. I want to take a moment to acknowledge those directly impacted by Hurricane Helene. Whether you're in the process of recovering, rebuilding, or are still dealing with the fallout, our thoughts are with you. Disasters like these are a reminder of why preparedness is so important, and we hope this video provides insight that will help all of us, including those still recovering, to be better prepared for the future. As always, I use a computer-generated voice due to an injury that makes my own voice hard to understand. Thanks for your support and understanding. Late on September 26, Hurricane Helene made landfall at peak intensity in the Big Bend region of Florida as one of the largest diameter hurricanes to ever strike the Gulf Coast. Although its size didn't necessarily correlate with wind strength, it exposed millions to the storm's hazards. Wind gusts reached 67 miles per hour in Naples, and storm surges peaked at 9.6 feet in Steinhatchee, causing significant flooding. Over 1.3 million Floridians lost power, with widespread infrastructure damage, including the Central Florida Pipeline, which was inundated with salt water, cutting off the primary jet fuel supply to Orlando International Airport. 12 fatalities were reported in Florida, including 9 in Pinellas County. The aftermath of Helene was brutal, with the Tampa Bay area seeing more than 1,000 people rescued from water emergencies. In Taylor County, 90% of homes in Keaton Beach were destroyed. Pasco and Citrus counties also reported large-scale rescue operations. Further north, winds and flooding affected several inland areas, leaving tens of thousands without power. Georgia saw its heaviest rainfall in over a century. Atlanta's first ever flash flood emergency was declared, as nearly 11 inches of rain fell in just 2 days. The flooding paralyzed the city, and over 1 million people across Georgia lost power. Highways became impassable, and localized urban flooding impacted infrastructure across the state. Rabun County saw significant damage as Lake Rabun's floodgates were opened, forcing evacuations. North Carolina was hit with even worse consequences. 56 lives were lost, 40 in Buncombe County alone. Flooding, power outages, and landslides crippled the western part of the state, cutting off access to some towns. Roads were washed out, and over 400 were closed statewide. Over 200 people were rescued from floods, while more than 1,000 residents in the Black Mountains region were left stranded. A tornado struck Rocky Mount, injuring several people and damaging numerous buildings. Despite warnings, Hurricane Helene revealed significant gaps in preparedness for short-term survival. One of the first problems was fuel shortages. Gas stations across affected regions were drained within hours as residents tried to evacuate or power generators. With roads flooded and many highways impassable, fuel deliveries have not arrived in many places, leaving many stranded without the ability to refill. Food and water quickly became scarce as well. Grocery stores were emptied within hours, and even those with some supplies found themselves unprepared for the extended power outages. Without electricity, refrigerators failed, causing perishable food to spoil. For many, clean drinking water became another urgent issue, with contaminated supplies exacerbating the situation. Communication breakdowns added to the chaos. With cell towers damaged or destroyed, people were left without access to crucial information or the ability to contact loved ones. Many residents were unprepared for these outages and lacked reliable backup communication systems like GMRS radios, which would have kept them connected. For preppers, ensuring access to these radios is critical in such situations. Check the video description for links to recommended GMRS radios for preparedness. Another issue many people faced during Helene was the lack of a solid bug-out plan and a properly prepared bug-out bag. With the storm rapidly intensifying, residents in vulnerable areas were forced to evacuate at the last minute, often without the supplies they needed for a quick and efficient escape. A bug-out bag, pre-packed with essentials like food, water, first aid supplies, and important documents, would have made evacuation easier and safer. Having multiple pre-planned evacuation routes and destinations can mean the difference between safety and chaos. For preppers, it's a crucial step to ensure they're not caught off guard by a sudden evacuation order. An overlooked issue during Hurricane Helene was sanitation. With water supplies compromised due to flooding and contamination, many found themselves without a way to maintain basic hygiene. Toilets couldn't flush, and without backup sanitation solutions, people faced growing health risks from unsanitary conditions. Preppers should consider having emergency sanitation kits, including disinfectants, sanitizers, and waste bags to maintain hygiene in the absence of running water. Portable or composting toilets, such as those linked in the video description, are also very useful when there is no water supply. Proper sanitation is critical during disasters to prevent illness, especially when access to medical care is limited. These challenges serve as a reminder for preppers to not only stockpile essentials, but also to think beyond the basics, such as fuel, alternative communication methods, and backup power solutions, to ensure they can weather both the immediate and long-term impacts of a disaster like Helene. Hurricane Helene didn't just expose short-term gaps in preparedness. It also revealed vulnerabilities that could have far-reaching consequences. One of the most concerning issues was the damage to critical infrastructure like power grids and supply chains. Over 1.5 million people in Florida and other states were left without power, and for many, it could take weeks, if not months, to fully restore electricity. This means not only prolonged personal hardship, but also major disruptions to business operations and essential services. The storm also exposed weaknesses in supply chains, particularly for fuel and other critical resources. The damaged Central Florida pipeline, which supplies jet fuel to Orlando International Airport, is just one example of how a single point of failure can disrupt entire industries. The damage to this pipeline forced the airport to rely on trucking and fuel, a solution that is neither sustainable nor reliable for long-term operations. For preppers, this highlights the importance of considering how broader infrastructure failures can impact your ability to travel, access resources, or even maintain your livelihood. Beyond the immediate damage, Helene's effects on industries such as agriculture, technology, and manufacturing could take months or years to fully recover from. For example, flooding in agricultural regions could lead to crop losses and food shortages, while disruptions to key supply chains like those supporting semiconductor manufacturing could have global ripple effects. The two quartz mines in North Carolina, the world's biggest source of high-purity quartz essential for producing silicon wafers, were cut off by road damage, halting production and impacting the tech industry. This shows how even localized disasters can have global implications, affecting everything from consumer electronics to military equipment. In the long term, rebuilding from Helene will require billions of dollars and could take years. The economic losses are staggering, with estimates ranging as high as $160 billion. For preppers, this is a reminder that large-scale disasters can have long-lasting effects, not just on the immediate area, but on national and global economies. Preparing for these longer-term disruptions is as important as stocking up on short-term essentials. Hurricane Helene left us with many hard lessons, and some especially useful lessons for those in the prepping community. First, it's clear that we need to be ready for both short-term and long-term impacts. Stockpiling essentials like food, water, and fuel is important, but so is having a plan for sheltering at home if you can stay safely, as well as a bug-out plan and a well-packed bug-out bag in case evacuation becomes necessary. Communication is another critical area. With cell towers down, those who had GMRS radios were able to stay connected. For preppers, these radios should be a must-have part of your emergency communication kit. You can find some great options in the video description. The storm also highlighted the importance of thinking about infrastructure vulnerabilities. It's not just about preparing for a few days of disruption. Long-term failures, like the damage to the Central Florida pipeline, can impact entire industries for weeks or months. That means being ready for more than just immediate needs and planning for extended periods of disruption. Finally, Helene reminded us of the fragility of global supply chains. From fuel shortages to the disruption of critical materials like the quartz needed for semiconductor manufacturing, the effects of this hurricane went far beyond its immediate path. As preppers, we need to stay aware of how these larger systems can affect our everyday lives and be prepared for longer-term shortages or supply interruptions. Hurricane Helene was a powerful reminder of the unpredictability and severity of natural disasters. For preppers, it's a wake-up call to evaluate and update our preparedness strategies, ensuring we're ready for both the immediate and long-term impacts of such events. Whether it's stocking up on essentials, having a solid bug-out plan, or understanding the vulnerabilities in infrastructure and supply chains, we can all take steps to improve our readiness. If you found this video helpful, please like and share the video and subscribe to Prepper's Paradigm. Thanks for watching. Stay prepared, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.